All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Some Random Guy Speaks. I am your host, Tony G, and we are about to get started. We're going to be talking about something, and it's about the military coming. Checkmate. So I'm going to wait for people to get into the room, and when you do, then we're going to get started. Over here eating on some red beans and rice, and it is good. Now, I don't eat it often, but it is good. Should have got myself a quarter of this stuff. But other than that, the show must go on. I hope everybody enjoying their Thursday night. I've been out here working. I set this thing up for earlier, but I got busy working, which is always a good thing, especially in this line of work. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna wait for some people to come into the chat, and then we are definitely going to get started in things though. So um, yeah, I'm just gonna wait for some people though, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and really get into this thing though too. So last night, the live, I had a very serious topic to talk about, which is about the black family, and things like that. So yeah, that was really good. hmm But yeah, so just kind of wait for you guys to come into the chat. Then we're gonna go from there. Yep. So, but yeah, it was a good time. It was a great time. For what we talked about. This time we're going to talk about um, the Enemy Act of 1798. That's what we're going to talk about. The Alien Enemy Act is what it is. We're going to talk about that and things, and because we already know that some of us that really don't know, this is what Trump enacted before, was the Enemy Act of All right, guys. Sorry about that. I got a phone call. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about it. The military is coming. Checkmate. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and talk about it tonight. Welcome to the chat. I'm trying to see if it's other people gonna come on. I seem to come on with more popular people that's more popular than me. But then that's another reason I'm kind of figuring this stuff out. I know the times to do it. And usually around this time, 7 p.m., people are off from work, usually the time, but I am competing with more popular people. Some of them are already off and some of them are still on, you know what I'm saying? So, but the show must go on. Show must go on. So I'm gonna give a shout out to Omega, Joe Mama, Sherry Lady. Let me see here. Who else, we got quite a few people. And let me see here. RR 100 and it's a few others though, man. It's been a little while since I've seen these other cats. I ain't seen these guys, man. Yeah. Billy Sharp. I ain't seen him in a while either, man. Keeping it sharp with Billy Sharp. It's a lot of them. Dwight, brother Dwight. So forth. But yeah, giving shout outs. Jimmy Trace. He got great content. You guys should check out Jimmy Trace as well too. He does a lot of shorts now, but I like his lives. I mod for him as well, so it's all good. But other than that, though, ladies and gentlemen, so yeah, so even though it's just one person in the room, it's always so used to doing that for whoever's listening in the future. So yeah, so it's already been done. Trump has a victory, ladies and gentlemen. Trump has a victory. So the victory with Trump, right, is that they said it, right? According to the courts, you know what I'm saying? According to the courts. Yeah, let me read this comment first before we get started. Hey, dude, caught a bit of your stream. Nice vibe. I can connect you to Twitch. Oh, stream, blah, blah, blah. 12 man. I don't want to do, yeah, thanks and no thanks, man. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good with all that. I grow my stuff generically, you know what I'm saying? That's what I did with YouTube. It'll take me longer, but that's okay. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to buy followers, do all that type of stuff because it wouldn't be genuine, you know what I'm saying? No offense, but I'm good and stuff like that. Because when you buy followers, and I know that's what people do on here. I'm just old school, man. It's not a race to the finish line. You know what I'm saying? I'm just walking my turtle snail pace. And this is when people really rock with you instead of having a whole bunch of phony followers. Because what tends to happen is they'll fall off because they're not your followers. They're just following, but it's not real. So no, thank you. I don't want to do it that way. hmm Yeah, you can't shortcut to success. You got to put your time in, man. Got to put your work in, though. But I'm good on all that. In fact, let's go ahead on and get that, because yeah, I ain't, yeah, the solicitors and all this other stuff. No show on stage. No. Oh, that's coming up on. Yeah, he did say that's coming up on Twitch, right? Yeah, so that's cool. I'm good. So yeah, so other than that though, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, so Trump has a victory, right? He has gotten approved through the Supreme Court, for him sending in the military. But remember before, Trump is using an old code. I mean, an old law, sorry. An old law, which is the Enemy Act, right? Trump, and let's go ahead and get down to it, though. We're gonna go right into it, man, because this is what Trump is using. And yeah, my phone got so many apps open. Hold on for a minute, y'all. Let me do this here. I got so many stuff going on. Let's go ahead and shut that down. Shut that down. Shut that down. It's a lot of things. It's using a lot of resources, man. Dude, boy. Let's see if that may work now. God, well, all these things, got all these apps open. Give me in one moment. All right, let's see here. Yep. Hold on for one moment. Yep. So, all right. So here it is, though. So once again, so he is invoking. Trump is invoking the enemy, the Alien Enemy Act, right? So it says here that Trump stated he did not personally sign the proclamation invoking the Enemy Act, but he supports the deportation of Venezuelan immigrants involved with crime. Judge James Boltzmann, right, expressed concerns that the proclamation was signed quickly and the deportation occurred hastily. This is what Boltzmann been trying to stop Trump, and Trump don't really have to even deal with this guy, man, because he's actually the president, man. He don't even have to deal with this low level fool. You know what I'm saying? But the Justice Department asked Judge Bozeman to lift his order blocking the deportation under the Enemy Act during a recent court hearing. Trump's administration claimed that the use of the Alien Enemy Act does not require federal court. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't require a federal court review despite Bozeman's temporary blocking order. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't require that. You know? Why play games with these people? Just go ahead on and do it. But anyway, Trump is going to go ahead and do it. So the military is coming, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, Caroline Levitt did discuss this as well, and as she said that the under the President Donald Trump invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to label Venezuelan immigrants as members of the Tren de Ilagra gang, right? This and they're going to be coming into town tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So they're coming. The military is coming now, right? So, just talking about it here. What else is going on in regards to that? So, just by looking at it here, Venezuelan immigrants, right, as members of the Tren de Ilagra and summary shipped them to foreign prisons on Thursday. New York Times reported the administration lawyers, right, determined the 18th century law historically reserved for wartime scenarios could allow federal agents to enter homes without a warrant. Dig that. Check that out. You know what I'm saying? The civil liberties we all value in that form are fundamentally part of the U.S. democracy are quickly disappearing under the guise of national security and the state secrets. It's a big reason why U.S. District Judge James Boltzmann called the Trump administration initial response to his orders blocking the deportation flights of Venezuelan migrants under the act. Um, under the act, and yeah, so this is what he's basically saying. But it doesn't need to go to the judge to the Congress in order to do it, though. I mean, that's the saying Bozeman ain't shit. You don't need him. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, so that is that in a nutshell. I'm gonna go on further than this, but I'm just kind of bringing this up. So he can let's say invoke, and Trump has invoked the Enemy Act. They already approved it through the through the Congress. I mean, shouldn't he have to do this though? That's the whole thing about it. You know what I mean? Right? So, um, let me see here. So, what else is going on here with this? So, they are not going to stop, according to the border czar Tim Holman declared on Fox News. We are not stopping. We don't care what the judge thinks. I know that's right. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming. This is what Tom Holman had to say. He says we're coming, and they are coming. The examples of why many critics have labeled ICE a rogue agency are endless. But it's not about what these people, it's about what the law is, what the Constitution is. You can't sit up in here and harvest illegal criminals into our country. You can't hide them out. You can't have them over here working illegally. You can't have them over here committing crimes and things like that, drug trafficking, sex trafficking. We just can't allow you to do that. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, this is why ICE has been enacted, right? We have the border patrol agents as well, right? So with this with ICE as immigration custom enforcement, right? They have a job to do. And the job they're going to do that they were hired to do, they are going to do it. They're going to carry this thing out, no matter what anybody thinks, right? They are going to go into these cities and they are going to take out many, many of these illegal Venezuelans that should not be allowed in the country in the first place. I'm just saying, they should not be here. They came here under the Barack Obama Biden situation. Kamala Harris, y'all remember that? So yeah, they should not be here, and this is why they're gonna be getting up on out of here very, very soon. I'm looking forward to the purge of rounding up these illegal criminals that have plagued our country, and they're destroying our country by taking set-asides and programs that are designed for American citizens. You know, the media have lied on Trump and ICE. They want to make these ICE agents Gestapo when these are people, these are patriots that's signing up to do a job by rounding up these illegals in these country and things like that, because they have been making a mess of America. They have been destroying America and so forth. You know, we voted for this, and I feel good about my vote with Trump. This is what we wanted. We wanted this. Yeah, we wanted this. Yeah, we sure did. And I don't feel bad about it. You got people out here attacking ICE agents and Tifa, as I mentioned before. We voted for this. The military is coming now. Now, the thing about it is the military got to be mindful of their oath, because you know these Democrats and people already are trying to tell the military people not to follow Donald Trump. And I thought I read somewhere that Trump is actually going to be putting the death penalty, and that's going to be up under treason. Anybody that decides to not carry out their duty, right, it's going to be looked up on as treason. This is why the military got to be mindful of their oath. You took the oath to protect this country, whether it's foreign or domestic. This ain't about your people and all this other kind of nonsense. You know, you sworn to take an oath. And now Trump gave you an out. He said, if you don't feel like you can do this, then step aside. Because he'd rather have a person not be a part of the military anymore, not if you don't think you're going to carry out your duty. He already gave you an out. If you don't want to do it, then leave. It's just that simple. We are looking for real patriots to serve and protect this country, whether if it's foreign or domestic, right? This is in your oath. You know your oath better than I do. I'm just summarizing it. You have a job to do. You know, this is about duty and honor. And hopefully you'll carry out the mission. Yeah. So there that is. There that is. So going back to the Trump thing though, you know, because even though that James Bozeman tried to block it, but Trump never had to. I mean, this is silly. He never had to listen to this dude. That's what I can't understand. You know what I'm saying? But he want to show the American people how this rogue judge or these judges want to stand up and bring these injunctions. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. ICE was created back in 2003. Then we have the Border Patrol. I believe they were created in 1984. So ICE is relatively new. We're talking since 2003, right? When ICE enforcement was, let's say, restructured in the wake of 9/11 as a part of a newly formed Department of Homeland Security, right? The agents emerged from a climate of fear to mission creep with a mandate that fused, right, counterterrorism logic with immigration policies, right? This is what ICE is about, right? The result was a militarized, man, that don't even sound right, militarized um, agency that quickly expand its power. ICE now employs more than 20,000 people, and its budget is around 8 billion, almost triple that when it was back in 2003. I can see that. This is why when Trump came up with the big beautiful bill, there's going to be a lot of funding that's going to be pushed towards ICE when it comes down to new ICE agents. There are many ICE agents that have signed up to, these are patriots, ladies and gentlemen. They have signed up to do their civic duty, patriotic duty to be more precise, to carry out an operation, carry out the mission by rounding up these illegals and getting them up on out of here, right? Because we don't want them. We never wanted them. You know, this came down from the low down liberal left demo KKK rats. We didn't bring them into this country. They were telling us that the border was secure. Listen to their lies while over 15 million people enter into our country, right? They want to call ICE a rogue agency, right? Gestapo, right? You know what I'm saying? Which is not true. But under the Democrat administration, ladies and gentlemen, the American Civic Liberties Union was already documenting, right, how mass immigration detention was ripping apart American lives. This is all they shit, right? This is the thing about it, though, man. The ICE, right? They're gonna carry out this mission. We gave Trump a mandate when 77 million people voted for who? Trump, right? This is the thing about it. So, you know, they're gonna got a lot of backlash, but it don't really mean anything. We want these Venezuelan illegals out of here. We want many of these other people out of here as well. Over the past few weeks, ICE and DHS have ramped up most public-facing enforcement campaigns yet. Shackled Venezuelan immigrants, heads shaved, were and they were paraded through a maximum security prison in El Salvador. You know they shaved their heads and stuff, right? And that's where they're gonna be going, right? They're gonna be I'm talking about Trinidad Lagra, right? That's where they're gonna be going, right? So this is what it is. We gave him a mandate, and he's gonna carry it out, right? This is exactly what it is. So I'm very happy when the 2026 roll around, we're gonna start seeing millions of them being deported up on out of here. I want their asses out of here. I want them gone. That's the thing about it. I want these illegal killers, murderers, and everything else up on out of here. You know what I'm saying? All of them illegal, whether they're in a gang or not. And the reason that when we're saying that, because once again, you come over here in this country illegally. You didn't come over here, you didn't come through the right path of citizenship. You come over here illegally. And we don't want you. Not illegal, we don't. You got to come through here the right pathway of citizenship, as I stated many of times. It's not fair for people that have already been over here. You get the because you think you can just jump the line. No, no, no birthright citizenship. Trump already protected the 14th Amendment right. So at least a lot of people, especially blacks, can rest easy on that. You know? Yeah. So yeah, just kind of talking about this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go a little bit further in things about this about the Enemy Act, because again, people, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think a lot, because a lot of us didn't know about the Alien Enemy Act of 1798. It's one of the 4 alien sedition acts, right? Survived in the 21st century, and it remains a powerful and controversial wartime authority granted to the president. Straight like that. That's basically what it is, right? This is what it is for wartime, right? War of 1812, James Madison, World War One, right? Woodrow Wilson, World War II, Franklin D. Roosevelt, right? Yeah, so yeah, just talking about this, in regards to what's going on, because like I said before, they should not be allowed to be in this country. Just keeping it real. It really shouldn't. It should not be allowed in here. And now that they're gonna be getting up on out of here, and that's the thing though, I'm so happy about that. So Trump got a victory once again. It's another victory. It's another victory. Yeah. But yeah, because there's a lot of popular channels out here tonight, man. Yeah. Yeah, man. Boy, I tell you, I'm over here looking at some of them right now. Yeah, man. I don't see other people. Let's see. I'm just over here looking at something else. Hold on for a minute. Let's see here. Hmm. All right. Yeah, proclamation here. All right. All right, yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'm just over here. All right. All right. Let's see here. All right. All right. Let's take a look at it here. All right. Let's see here. All right. Let's take a look at it here. All right. Let's take a look at it and see. All right. Now, there's something else I want to talk about, and that's the posse cosmetot. What's that? The posse comitatus act of 1790, 1878. I think that's what it is. You know, Kamikaze Act, the Kamikazes Act. Which it says here, the Posse Comitatus Act is a United States federal law signed into law on January the 18th, 1878 by President Rutherford B. Hayes, right? It's just basically saying in so many words that some of us already know that the U.S. troops are not allowed to come into a city and police its citizens, right? To make it let me see, the Posse Comitatus Act is a federal law that generally prohibits the U.S. military from acting as domestic law enforcement, with some exceptions. Enacted in 1778, the act was created to prevent military from being used for citizen police work, such as making arrests and conducting searches. Now, the key exemptions include when Congress, I can kind of see how Trump found a loophole out of this, because the Ancient Enemies Act, or I should say ancient, but the Alien Act of 1798, you know what I'm saying? Because he can use that if it's like wartime or whatever which I kind of went over that already. So the Democrats are going to try to push this now and things like that. So Trump has the green light to send in the military troops to go after these people, because these people are not citizens, and we got to be mindful of that. The people, the Venezuelans and the rest of them, they're not citizens though too. They're not the citizens of the United States at all. So why should it even matter, right? You know, it's just that the citizens should stay out of the way and allow them to do police work. This is why the military got to come in. And they're, I mean, if Trump declares an insurgency under the Insurgency Act, which I already pulled that up before, but Trump got a few options though, you know. He definitely got a more than a few options, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video for now. I got myself a ride and things like that. But I appreciate you guys coming on. Normally this will be a little longer, but 30 minutes, that's cool. I don't want to go over my time, so I gotta pick up a passenger. But I'll see you guys tomorrow and things like that on the political side. Peace.